Hello, everybody. Hello, French Valley, Temecula Valley. Happy Monday to everybody. I am here live with the Chaparral Theater high school teacher. I am a fellow actor myself. I grew up doing theater. I reached out to him and asked him if I could have him on the show today. Chris, can you tell me a little bit about who you are and what you've got going on over there at Chaparral?
Thank you. We could probably do a whole segment of just talking about your theater experience. I could interview you.
I would love that. I've got a stage right here in my office. That's how much I
Really?
love theater. So
That's cool.
at some point or another, we'll figure something out together, my friend.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it, and giving me a chance to talk about the program and help to promote. As you can see, my name is Chris Irvin. I'm the drama teacher over at Chaparral High School. I've been involved in the theater department since 2010. I've been at Chaparral since 2002. I have a theater background, and it just kind of worked out in 11 years ago that I could start getting more involved in the theater department. And what we've got going on this year, obviously, is with all schools, it's definitely not traditional. We've certainly had to make adjustments with moving virtually. Certainly keep everybody safe, which is the number one thing. And we've adjusted. Yeah, the big question I get is, oh, how are you doing drama on, through virtually? And we've figured it out. There's a lot of things that I would normally do in a live class that we are able to do online, and it's worked. It isn't easy, but it's definitely worked. And we are now moving into recruitment and kids signing up for their courses for the next school year. And because we haven't had the opportunity to visit middle schools, the feeder schools, we haven't had the opportunity to do live productions in our theater, which brings in an audience, which then generates interest for those people who come see our shows. Since we don't have that, we're doing what we can to maybe take some different avenues to be able to recruit and at least just get the word out for for kids who are coming into Chaparral to consider taking drama.
I love one of the things that you guys are doing with you guys were doing the improv troupe. And that's one of the things that I
Yeah.
want to start doing here, right here in the French Valley Village Plaza. I want to get together an improv group. I want to start doing some stand-up comedy. Theater for me, as an autistic kid, was huge.
Mhm.
It was absolutely crucial. It was the place that I learned that I had tics, that I had certain things that I wasn't controlling there with myself. And so I think that there's a lot of creative people that are being lost right now with everything that's
Mhm.
going on with education. I'm really grateful that you guys are finding ways to adapt and overcome. Tell me a little bit about your guys' improv troupe and your guys' performance that I think just happened.
It did. We had a show this last Friday. We actually kind of gave it a test drive last school year when we went into lockdown in March, and we are all kind of thrown into, okay, what do we do? And I had approached the team, our improv team last year, and I said, I think we could probably still do what we do, but just do it online. And we started um, taking the basic games and tweaking them a little bit to work virtually. And we rehearsed, we practiced for about a month, and we gave it a shot. We did a show in May, the first one, and we thought, holy cow, it actually worked. And so then starting this new school year, we said, well, we know that it works, so let's keep moving forward. So we've done 4 live stream shows, and they are completely live. Um, the kids are in their own homes. I'm in my home moderating, and it works. The kids are, controlling their own cameras. And now, certainly, there are some improv games that just won't work online, but most of them do. And I've been really happy, and the kids have been happy, and the audience. And one thing that I think hit home the hardest, or at least touched me the most, and I know that the team members did too, is when we did that first show, we could see the comments coming in. on the live stream, because we have the audience participating too. The audience through the chat in the live stream are giving us our call fors. So so the audience is able to participate, even though we can't hear them. But what had happened towards the end of that first show, people were commenting, thanking us for doing it, because it was some kind of normalcy in a very abnormal situation. And at the very least, they're like, thank you for bringing, something familiar from Chaparral High School into our homes during this time. And that's been the motivation for us to keep going with these shows. So
absolutely. I love that. I think that it's so important right now. There's a lot of young people that are struggling with depression. There's not a lot of things that they're doing creatively. It's hard to do something creatively. One of my theater teachers talked about doing art in a closet, right? So doing art in a closet, and then having it not be seen. It's still art, yes, but part of the medium is getting out there and having it be seen. I'm actually here with a local artist right now, Kristen Saber, who's got a new piece for us in the office. And I want this to be an area where art is being shared, where people are seeing art and experiencing art. And so I appreciate you for what you're doing right now for these kids. I think it's extraordinarily important. How do these young people get signed up for next year?
Well, it goes through their counselors. So their counselors are, in contact with the kids and getting them signed up. So I would highly encourage them to put, if they don't have theater experience, I highly encourage them to sign up for beginning drama. And one thing that I did want to say, because sometimes, kids are like, drama is a hard thing to sell sometimes. There's those hardcore, they're like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And then there's those who are like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to get up in front of anybody. But the way we sell it, at least for those kids, is that that's exactly why they should be taking it, because usually they'll come in August and they're pretty shy. And by November, I'll ask them, I go, okay, based on when you came in August, how do you feel now about getting up in front of other people? And I'm not talking about just in my class, but in the other classes. And they'll be like, yeah, it's no big deal.
And so I can tell you, it's made me a better person in a lot of ways. I'm a better father because I know how to pretend with my kids. I remember taking improv as a kid, and it's yes and. And so when you're pretending with your kids, it's still yes and. They don't come to you and say, hey, Dad, I'm an astronaut. And then you say, nah, we're not astronauts. We're we're whatever. It's yes and. I'm a better father because of theater. I'm a better businessman because I know how to get up in front of people and to convey something that is in my head in a way that people are going to understand it a little bit more. So it's something that is very important. It's important to be receptive, to be able to say something in a way that people will receive, right? And so being palatable. And that's one of the things that I learned about, of course, I didn't know when I was younger that I was autistic. But long before I realized that I was autistic, my family, my theater family, saw me for being different. They celebrated and loved me for my neurodiversity long before we had the words for it. And so I strongly encourage anyone out there who has kids that are looking to get into something like theater, or maybe even not considering to get into something like theater, because it's so important. It's so important to have that community. And for people like me who ate lunch by themselves in high school, theater was my community. It was the place where I was well received and where I was loved.
Right, and you hit it right on the head. The performance aside, technique aside, like you said, it's community. And the kids who are in the program all 4 years, they go through the entire program, they do all the after-school shows, musicals, all that. They are a family. And I'm still best friends. My closest friends are my high school drama friends. And I don't know if it's just because if it's that growing and you grow together, and theater's just, well, it's any art, really. It's a different kind of connection. And I always say, what I tell parents is, if it's not drama, then let it be something else. As long as your kids are involved in something and it's something that they love to do and it's something that is getting them to school every day and they have that community, that's what's important.
I love that you said that. So my friend Andrew Herringer, was here. He lives out in LA, and we did theater together for
Mhm.
3 years in high school. And he came by, and he was here as this sign was going up here in my office. And so it's a community that you're never going to shake. And in addition, I still am close with my high school theater teacher,
Yeah.
Pete Miller, and we call him Strawberry Gonzalez. And so we love our theater teacher. And in that community, what's beautiful about the theater community is you walk into any theater in America, and it's just going to be this whole gaggle of weirdos where it's just like you're going to be welcome.
Right. And the other thing that I've noticed too with other departments, you go into any theater department across the country, any school, and it's the same counterparts. You see the same kids. You're like, oh, that's me. Oh, that's so and so. That's it's weird.
Yeah, it's just because there's a place for everybody. There's the place for the techies, the people that, because I've got all this theater lighting right now that I'm going to hang for the stage, and I was not a theater lighting person. I learned enough to become proficient, but that's the cool thing about theater. And so let me ask you a couple more questions before I let you go.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody, I love theater. For me, it's not a hard sell. Like it's in my blood. I love theater. But for other kids, of course, it's a little bit of a harder thing. Do you guys do you toy around with film at all? Do you have a little bit of a film department over there at Chaparral, or is this mainly a stage?
We have. I actually was the TV video teacher when I first started at Chaparral, as well as English, and then I transitioned 100% into theater. So someone else was taking over TV video. We do have a department. It's in transition, especially during this time. But we do now. In the last couple of years, we have not done. I think. Let me back up. I do have a film unit and an acting for camera unit within the curriculum of the classes, but we haven't gone so far as to collaborate with the other classes. The kids have kind of done it on their own. Yeah.
That's great. And so you said, what's on the roster here for next year? Do you already have your playbill set up? Do you already have your plays picked out?
Unfortunately, last year, our spring musical, Sweet Charity, which was done, by the way, it was done, and then we got shut down. And then we thought, okay, that's all right. We'll push it off for a few weeks. All right, we'll push it off to the summer. Okay, let's push it off to August. And then it's like, it's not going to happen. To the point where I'm like, well, gosh, maybe we could do an alumni show the following summer, because honestly, the set pieces are still sitting on the stage.
I really hope that it gets a chance to get seen. Like,
Yeah.
I love theater. I love live theater. There's nothing that will ever replace the energy and the excitement of live theater. So, I applaud you for holding on to the set. I hope that you guys get to do an alumni show. What are you guys looking at for next year?
Well, I don't know if the alumni show is going to happen, but what was scheduled for this year, which I actually postponed until next year, we're going to do for sure. We're doing the musical called Something Rotten. It had just been released this last year, so I was really excited to jump on it. It's not going to happen this spring, so we chose to postpone it till next spring. I do have some ideas for what will be happening in the fall, as well as our spring straight play, but the kids don't know that yet. They don't know what it is, so I'm gonna keep that to myself right now. But I know.
Good for you. Captain, my captain. Good teacher for not spilling the beans here, not letting me pressure you at all. So Christian Tika said, theater is the perfect outlet for teenagers to get their teenage angst out. I love what theater did for me in high school. And I'll tell you what, so for me, theater was a place where there was a lot of love. There's a lot of love. And my kids like to make fun of the oldest teenager. They say, oh, you might not like it because it's not a very angsty movie or whatnot. But so here's the truth. For me, theater was a place where, everywhere else people were being bullied. Everywhere else people were having issues with trying to fit in. Theater has never been a place where I have experienced this kind of bullying. And when it does happen, the community generally is like, hey, listen, we don't do that stuff here. That's not how we roll. We don't do the outcast thing. So so I applaud you for what you're doing. I'm glad that you're going to have hopefully a chance to get started in the fall. How can people keep up with Chaparral Actors Troupe? how can they find you and follow you guys with what you got going on right now?
Well, we are on Facebook. Chaparral Actors Troupe has its own Facebook page, so certainly you can friend that page. Not a whole lot has been posted this year, but that is soon to change. For sure. And that's where I post, like with the improv shows. If anyone wants to check out an improv show this year, we will have another one in March, and then the final one for the year in May. So we actually are wrapping it up. We're on and then we'll probably have 3 more before
If
the
you
end of
guys
the
ever
school.
want to do anything here at our community and do something like right here on this little stage, the space is yours to use in the future.
Thank you.
When you're up and running. Maybe we could have some fun and whatnot and do something different. I'd love to come down to Chaparral and watch your improv show if we get up and open and all that good stuff. I applaud you for keeping your kids involved in the interim there, Mr. Irvin.
Great, thank you. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for taking an interest in us, and I really do appreciate it. I know the kids do too.
No, absolutely. So shout out to all the kids, Chaparral Actors Troupe. I'm sorry that this is happening in your senior year, your junior year. Hang in there, guys. You guys got a solid community. It's clearly led by a heck of a teacher here in Mr. Irvin. So sending you love and respect to you and the Chaparral Actors Troupe. And hoping that you guys all pull through this and we see everybody on the other end. I'm looking forward to sitting out in the crowd and applauding my fellow thespians as you guys get started in your new season. So thank you so much for joining me on the show. Anything for us in closing, my friend?
Just again, if you have a student that is coming into Chaparral as a 9th grader, really encourage them, because they may realize they may not think they want to do drama, and maybe once they get in, they realize, hey, this is something I really like to do, and it's something I can do.
Absolutely.
So,
Theater.
We will take anybody. Yeah.
It changed my life. I'm a better, like I said, better dad, better father, better member of the community, better leader because of theater. So thank you for all of these life skills that you're giving these kids. They don't even realize that they're getting them. Theater is extraordinarily undervalued as far as I'm concerned in every high school across California. So I appreciate you fighting the fight and keeping the arts involved. And we'll be, again, sending you love, support, and respect, my friend. Thank you for joining us here on our community news today. And we will be tuning in to watch Chaparral Actors Troupe and all of your players getting out there into the world. Thank you for joining me on the show, Chris. Have a great day.
Thanks a lot. Take care.